How's it going there, guys? James here from Butler Farms on a very nice but extremely breezy Saturday. You can see by the clothes on the line that it is absolutely whipping out here. Temperature is not that bad, but with the breeze out here, it makes it a little bit more difficult. I just wanted to come to you and update you on something that I told you in one of my, I don't remember if it was in a short or in a regular video, about me having to change my idea about using my old strawberry patch here. Right here where I'm standing is where the strawberry patch was, and you know about all of this back in here, all of this brush pile that they pushed up when the house was built. And even though we own the land back behind them and told them to push it on out of the yard, you know, they're going to do as little as possible. Very disappointed in the way that this was left, but it is what it is. So my idea was that I was going to move this out, and those raised beds that you saw me building, and I'm gonna bring you a video on that too, hopefully this weekend when I've got a little time off, show you how I build them and get them set up. But they were going to go right here. Now there's several advantages to that. One being that from right here to my back door is probably 25-30 yards, if that. There's the back door, there's water right there on the side of the house, and so that would have been perfect as far as convenience. This was not only going to be just a raised bed garden, it's going to be kind of a kitchen garden kind of thing. This is where I was going to put my herb holder that I showed you how I built, and it was going to stay up here, and I could just walk right out of here and come up here and get what I needed. Lettuce and stuff like that. I mean, it's just right out the back door. Like I said, it's got water. But here's the thing. I took my tractor with a bucket, and you can see that it did not like that situation. This stuff is still very heavy, even though it's been laying out here about 3 years now. And it did all it could do. It pushed it back quite a bit. I've removed a bunch from the back side, but guys, that's as far as I can go with it. So a buddy of mine that's in the excavation business told me I needed to go rent a bobcat that, you know, that something with tracks on it would do a lot better. So I called around the areas that we have around here, and you can't get them for a half day at any of the businesses around here that rent them, and we've got several. Tuscaloosa is a pretty decent sized town, so we have several equipment rental places in town, but the cheapest ones I could find were about $450 for the day. Now with a bobcat, I could do this in about 2 hours and have it back to them in a half a day, but they won't rent it for a half a day. So you know, $450 for the day, and I guess there was some other things around here I could do with it as well. But then I don't have a trailer, obviously, that will tote something as heavy as a bobcat, so I was going to have to borrow their trailer, which I can't remember, maybe $50 to rent the trailer, something like that. But also to have them deliver it, because I never know where my truck's going to be with my son in it, was another $75, I believe. So long story short, it got up in the $550 to $600 range, and that was before taxes, and it's just not worth that to me. You know, this stuff can lay out here another year. I think once it gets another year of growth on it, I mean not growth, but decay on it, I should be able to get it out of here, or maybe I can find a cheaper option to get it out of here. I'm not going to give up on having a raised bed garden up here, just simply because it's just too convenient. This is a beautiful flat area out there. Of course, this old twisted up pine would have to go, but from that pine tree to me, that's just a beautiful flat area, guys. I could put the size raised beds that you saw me building, 4x8, 32 square foot. I could probably easily, if I ran them here and ran them there and had a walkway in between them, I could easily put 8 or 10 of them in here, no problem, and have plenty of room to work around, plenty of room. But I guess that's going to have to be something for the future now, because like I said, y'all probably figured out by now, I tried to go the cheap route and everything, and I'm just not willing to pay that kind of money for that. But I mean, we still have some growth up here. You can see my little blueberry bushes there. So, you know, there's that, and there's a some more blueberries around here. You can see where the pink tape is over there. There's blueberries there. So, you know, it's not totally useless. It's mostly useless because I need to get this out of here. Well, I decided to move it to the new cleared land, and it's got some advantages and disadvantages as well. And so let's go take a look at that, and I'll bring you right back. All right, guys, I'm back here with you on what I call the new cleared land. It's not really, I guess, new land, but it is for us because I've been up here. We've been married for right at 24 years, so almost a quarter of a century, and the whole time that I've been up here, this all down through here was useless. The woods had been allowed to grow out, and over time it just kind of took over, and it was thick, it was nasty, a lot of briars, and even trees. So when that storm came through and we had the guys up here with the equipment anyway, we decided to go ahead and pay them a little extra to come up here and clear this off. Now you can see my wife's old home place right there. So this is just down from our house. You can see it's quite a step up there. Our house is right there, so it's much further from the house, and that's a problem because, as you can see right back there, those are woods, and we find deer tracks everywhere out here, and where they've used the bathroom and everything else. So this is going to be an issue out here, so I'm gonna have to get creative about fencing and keeping the deer out of it, especially with leaf crops like lettuce and stuff. Second problem is there is water at that house, but we don't live in that house. So, you know, maybe we'll work something out. I don't know, but water is going to be an issue. More than likely, I'll end up having to tote water, and just hopefully we'll have, you know, a spring that has some good rainfall to it. The other thing, and I wanted to show you how far this came out, and it's going to be really difficult for you to be able to gauge this. So I'm right here on the edge of where the woods used to come out. So I used to cut grass right around through here, okay? And then you can see where that little leaf line is right there. That was the edge of the woods. And it came around through here, and you can see that stump, and then it went down through there. So all of that back in there is brand new cleared land. This was a retaining wall that my father-in-law put in probably 45 years ago. Obviously this is on kind of a slope. He put this in, old telephone poles in here. You can see the upright, and then he stacked telephone poles in behind it. And where I'm standing now is how, and when they first got married and lived here, all of this was clear up through here. This was yard. There was according to my wife, at one time there was a picnic table sitting right there, and it's a beautiful view back behind me. But not only had it come to this retaining wall, it had come back here to where I was standing. So it was a lot of property, you know, that was just being swallowed up. So while they were here, we went ahead and had them do that. Now, here's some advantages of this. It is relatively flat. Now, it's not as big of a place as where the brush pile will be, but from here over to here, I'll be able to get 4 or 5 raised beds in there. If I stack them end to end, I could actually get about 8 or 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that kind of thing. Hadn't decided what I'm going to do with that, but you can see here's the old retaining wall, and then it drops off. That's way too steep. Even here, I know it's hard to tell on camera, but it's at a slope like this, so I'm going to have to bring one end up just to get it level to begin with. So that's minor stuff. I'm gonna have to trim all this stuff out and clear some of that out to, you know, so that it doesn't take up some of my light. But other than that, it's a good spot. Right now, it's just sitting here doing nothing. And you know, I'm gonna have to either cut it or weed eat it anyway. I haven't been able to run a lawnmower through here ever since the storm came through, because there's so many chunks of wood and stuff. And I have raked and carried wheelbarrow load after wheelbarrow load out of here. And so it may be this year where I can actually get a lawnmower through here If not, it's not that big a deal. Plus with the raised beds, that's going to take up some of that space that I would normally have to cut. So the raised beds that I'm building now are coming here. I had to change from up there simply because I cannot come off that kind of money to get that brush pile cleared out. So I'm gonna give it another year to rot down, and maybe I can get it out of there. Here's another advantage of this spot. I just turned a complete 180. That's east right there. So this spot where I am right here is going to get morning sun all the way across, especially during the spring and the summer. That's north that way, so that's east. And it's going to come straight across, but then by the time it gets blazing hot, now I know lettuce, I won't have lettuce and stuff like that in during the blazing hot part of the year, but I will have crops in it. So it's going to get that morning sun. Once you get to about noon, it's going to start slacking off because of this big bush and the house behind it. So by the time afternoon comes around, here in Alabama, 3, 4, into 5 o'clock is unbelievably miserable hot. But by that time, these trees will be leafed out. So it's going to get some afternoon shade. So that's a good thing. I'm going to take that as a win. But other than that, we'll give it a shot. If it doesn't work, there's nothing that says I can't, once I do get that brush pile moved, nothing that says I can't pick these up and move them back up the hill without having to build new ones for up there. So we'll just see how it goes. But anyway, I was just going to bring you up to date on that. I told you that I had to make a change from my plans, and that's part of homesteading. That's part of doing what we do. We have to work with what we have, and I'm blessed to have what I have. I'm not complaining about it at all, but you can see behind me how far down that goes. That's deep. So all of this back here, there's not a lot I can do with that. So you can see where my garden is over there on that one flat spot. So when I find a spot like this that's going to get good morning sun, I have to take advantage of it. I have to use it, because this right here behind me, not so much. That's just grass I'll have to cut from now till I go meet the Lord, I guess. But so we're going to use this spot, and one day we're going to use that spot up there where the raised beds are, and that's just what you have to do. You just have to compromise and adapt and overcome. That's just part of it. So anyway, I'm gonna get off of here. I've got something I've got to go do tonight that I can't get out of, so I've got to get some things done before I go get cleaned up and do that, and stay busy out here, because when I get a few minutes or a couple hours off, I got to take advantage of it. Guys, we're still continuing to grow. I appreciate that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend. Please hit that thumbs up button after you watch this video. That supposedly helps tremendously. And until next time, God bless you. We love you. This is James from Butler Farms, and we'll be seeing you.